Sex and the City's Samantha Jones and Charlotte York were set up to be complete opposites. Samantha, the free-loving, up-for-anything hottie, and Charlotte, the romantic, repressed Park Avenue princess.
I think it's wrong to sleep with a man just to fulfill a certain fantasy.
You fantasize a man with a Park Avenue apartment and a nice big stock portfolio. For me, it's a fireman with a nice big hose.
But when we take a deeper look at their stories, we actually start to see that, surprisingly, they're a lot alike. While they don't always see eye to eye on the right way to live one's life, they do share some important similarities in the ways they go about getting what they want, and in how they grow over the course of the show. The pair actually provide some really interesting insight into how, regardless of the boxes that society might try to put us in, we're not actually that different from people we think are nothing like us, and how having those people in our lives can actually help us form a more accepting, multifaceted view of ourselves. One reason Samantha and Charlotte often butt heads is because they both have very specific ideas about what they want out of life and how they think things should be, and those ideas exist at opposite ends of the stereotypical Madonna whore spectrum.
Sex is something special that's supposed to happen between two people who love each other.
Or two people who love sex.
But the fact that they know what they want and are actively going after it, instead of just waiting around for the universe to make something happen for them, is a trait that they share. They both have jobs that they're good at, and they have focus in their personal lives too. They're good friends, and they each work on honing their love lives to get the situation they desire. Samantha, unattached fun; Charlotte, very attached traditional monogamy. They don't necessarily end up staying on these paths, which we'll unpack in a second, but they do at least have very specific ideas about what they want out of relationships and their lives as a whole, and go after that.
I'm gonna meet the perfect guy, and I'm gonna get married.
Yes, you're getting married.
This can lead to them getting a little stuck in their ways. They both, at first, have some pretty set-in-stone ideas about how women should behave in relationships. Samantha, in her quest for power and freedom, thinks that holding on to traditional ideas about sex and relationships is a sure way to failure and sadness.
You can bang your head against the wall and try and find a relationship, or you can say screw it and just go out and have sex like a man.
Charlotte is on the other end, holding on to the idea that those traditional ideas are the only way to ever get the happily ever after she's always dreamed about.
I thought you were serious about this guy. You can't sleep with him on the first date.
Oh God, here she goes again with the rules.
They're both determined to not just sit around waiting for the life they want, but instead go out and make it happen for themselves.
Charlotte treated marriage like a sorority she was desperately hoping to pledge.
And they bring this drive to the rest of their lives too. This has allowed them to become successful in their fields and build lives where they're able to stand on their own 2 feet and weather any of the wild things that life might throw their way. When life is feeling so hectic, the last thing we need is one more thing to stress over. That's why we love CookUnity. CookUnity is the first chef-to-consumer platform that connects you with a diverse group of award-winning, super talented chefs from all over the country, giving you access to delicious, no-hassle, freshly prepared meals that get sent right to your door. And these aren't warehouse-produced frozen meals either. They're made fresh in regional micro-kitchens and sent straight to you. CookUnity has a wide variety of dietary options, including vegan and gluten-free. And all of the meals are made with real ingredients. The subscription is super flexible, so you can choose to get anywhere from 4 to 16 meals delivered per week, and pause, skip a week, or cancel at any time. I love CookUnity because it makes it so easy to eat quality, chef-prepared meals, even when I'm working from home or just having a relaxing night in watching a movie. I especially enjoyed this chili roasted shrimp with fresh corn grits and pepper jack cheese, made by Chef Chris Fertel right here in New York City. It's the perfect cheesy comfort food. I don't have a lot of space to cook in my little studio apartment kitchen, so I love how easy these meals are to just pop in the oven, or if I'm really short on time, the microwave, and in just a few minutes have a tasty meal ready to go. If you want to get your own chef-created meals delivered right to your door and support The Take, go to cookunity.com/thetake50 or click the link in the description and use our code THETAKE50 to get 50% off your first order of CookUnity meals to try them out for yourself. While Charlotte and Samantha both start out quite sure of what they want out of life, that doesn't mean they always end up being right about what's actually best for them in the end. Their rules about life can cause them to stick with bad habits and relationships longer than they should. But another important quality they share is their willingness to change. Instead of just trudging along doing the same thing forever, after they realize they made the wrong choice, they make the decision to regroup, figure out what they do actually want now, and then go after that. They aren't afraid of growth or change, though that doesn't always mean it's easy. Charlotte tries her hardest to force the so-called perfect life she always dreamed of to come to fruition, to the point of essentially proposing to herself,
Maybe we should get married.
Alrighty.
sidelining her friends and career,
I'm quitting. That's what I want to do. Yep. I'm quitting.
and going forward with the wedding even when she has a lot of reservations. Her determination and drive caused her to initially push past the reality that she didn't want to accept. But she doesn't just decide that what's done is done and now she's stuck. Once she really accepts that this life isn't working, she breaks free and moves on. Personal growth isn't some idealistic one-way street where you only ever improve. It can take learning the same lesson a couple of times for things to really stick. This happens for Charlotte when she does find a happy new relationship with someone she really loves, but then almost blows everything because that idea of how things are supposed to go is still stuck in the back of her mind.
Do you know how lucky you are to have me? Do you know how we look? Do you know what people out there think when they see us together, do you?
But, yet again, instead of getting stuck in this pattern forever, she realizes what she's doing and how it's negatively affecting her life and her ability to achieve her true goal, a happy, loving relationship, and decides to go for this new thing even if it requires a change of plans.
Harry's not who I expected to fall in love with, but I did. And he makes me laugh. And he says what he means, and I feel like I can be myself around him. I don't care if you ever marry me. I just want to be with you.
Samantha, on the other hand, had specifically worked to avoid anything even close to monogamy because she didn't want someone tying her down or holding her back from what she wanted to do with her life.
F me badly once, shame on you. F me badly twice, shame on me.
But through the ups and downs of a few key relationships, she comes to find that she can in fact enjoy loving monogamous relationships. And even if they don't last forever, they're still important and enrich her life.
Maria is an incredible woman. She's got passion and talent, intelligence, and
A vagina?
oh, vagina schmagina.
Both Samantha and Charlotte realize that one of the most important things about rules is knowing when to bend or even break them. Samantha was notoriously up for anything, and learned that being in stable, longer-term relationships didn't mean having to give up that fun and exploration. And Charlotte, who was always framed as the most uptight one on the show, actually was up for trying out quite a lot after she had some time to warm up to it. And because they were both secure in who they were on a deeper level, they both also knew when to draw the line and move on. They both understood that the actual outcome and how it makes you feel is more important than holding on to some idea of how things could maybe one day be forever. That security in who they are comes from the fact that they love themselves and are confident in themselves.
I'm worth $1 million.
They know that they're not always perfect, but they know their worth and that they deserve to be happy.
I'm nice. I'm pretty and I'm smart. I'm a catch.
They're not willing to let others boss them around or put them down, as can even be seen when they put each other down, and always have a comeback to stand up for themselves. But even though they might get the occasional snipe in at the other's expense, their shared confidence in themselves allows them to continue to stand up for themselves and each other.
What's going on?
She stole my baby name.
You bitch. Let's go.
Because their personalities aren't constantly clouded by self-doubt or self-hate, they're able to learn from their experiences and grow as the show progresses. And they're also able to cultivate supportive relationships with their friends instead of just using them as a crutch or a safety net. Both Charlotte and Samantha are hit with a number of obstacles over the course of the show. Divorce, heartbreak, infertility, cancer, life just generally not working out the way they had imagined. But they always manage to find a way to pull themselves back up whenever they get knocked down. They each actually find more of an equilibrium between the two sides of the spectrum that once separated them, and find that they're much happier there. Samantha opens herself up to the love of others, and Charlotte finds a deeper love for herself.
I'm not interested.
Well, you better get interested, or you're gonna end up all alone and with no mans.
Well, maybe I am. And would that be the worst thing that could happen?
But most importantly, they never stop believing that they'll be able to create the life they want for themselves, no matter how far they might get thrown off course. A big part of both Charlotte and Samantha's eventual growth and success is born out of the fact that they both refuse to settle for less than what they think they deserve.
But it can happen. happen. People do live happily ever after.
They fight hard to get what they want, but if they realize that in the end it isn't what serves them, they're willing to let it go and keep trying until they do come upon the things that will bring them love and joy. Getting stuck in the idea that the thing you used to want is the only thing you'll ever want can be a recipe for disaster that causes you to settle for less just because on some level it makes you feel like you've won. But the real win comes from being able to recalibrate, accept you were wrong, and then chart a new course towards something better.
I've been in a relationship with myself for 49 years, and that's the one I need to work on.
That night, Charlotte realized the memories she was giving up might be nothing compared to the memories she was getting.
Samantha and Charlotte's trajectories over the course of the show also make clear how ridiculous and unfair the whole Madonna-whore dichotomy truly is. The trope forces women to see themselves as two-dimensional caricatures instead of fully realized people, and this can lead them to making themselves miserable trying to live up to the impossible ideals of either box. At the end of the day, there's no need to settle for getting trapped in one end or the other, because we all contain a spectrum of interests and desires. And both Charlotte and Samantha come to understand that over the show's run. They start to see that, as much as they might fight and disagree,
Is your vagina in the New York City guidebooks? Because it should be. It's the hottest spot in town. It's always open.
they're not actually that different after all.
Damn it, I just really want to be, just really. Claire Ann, I'm going.
They're both strong-willed, confident women who love themselves and refuse to settle for anyone or anything that doesn't bring them the happiness and fun that they know they deserve. Charlotte and Samantha are proof that you don't have to agree on everything to have a loving friendship, and that having friends that challenge your worldview and your conception of yourself a bit can actually be a good thing and lead to growth for both of you.
This is me. I'm not a Madonna, and I'm not a whore.
It can often feel like society is pulling us in two directions, still trying to force us to choose either the Madonna or the whore path. But Samantha and Charlotte show us that actually the key to happiness is not letting yourself get trapped in either box, and instead focusing on building a life that works for you. Even though they are quite different, the similarities they share are important and are what allow them to grow and change and become even better, happier people.
We made a deal ages ago. Men, babies, doesn't matter. We're soulmates.
That's The Take. Click here to watch the video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And make sure to subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive new videos.